Open Sports Show, time to talk about golf because there is a lot happening. Sometimes things slip under the radar. I know when Live Golf is going, we're all focused on that. But
Ryder Cup just happened.
There is a bit happening. So we thought we'd better get to the golfing expert, of course, none other than Gary Thompson. Gary, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice, mate. And there's a fair bit going on. Let's start with the Eisenhower Cup in Abu Dhabi. There's 39 teams that compete in this. It's nearly as big as any golf event, yet it kind of slips under the radar a bit.
It does. It doesn't get the publicity that it used to get, but the reason I thought we should talk about it is because Jack Buchanan, our Adelaide boy who's been in this seat a few times, he's made the team. And as far as I'm aware, he's only the fourth South Australian that's ever made it.
Wow.
So, and the first one was back in, I think, 1964. Bob Stevens. Then we had the great Chris Benithan played in two.
I was going to say Chris, yeah.
Yeah, then Shane Robinson, who's our professional at Glenelg, from when he was playing at Grange, he got in the team, and now Jack. So, and it's known as the World Team Championship. So they have teams of three. Well, some countries only take two players, but they count their best two scores each day over 4 days. So
this is amateur,
purely amateur. Yes.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm almost certain that Australia have only ever won it the once as well.
Okay.
So it'd be something great to win. And it's at the national course in Abu Dhabi, which has got that magnificent clubhouse with the sort of the eagle. Designed into the clubhouse, so it's a great course. So we should get some television on it. So
you should get a bit more credit for this because, as you say, absolutely, mate, because the Eisenhower Cup, as you just said earlier, it flies under the radar a bit, but it's a massive event. It's massive all around the world.
And look, it was a big thing for Jack too because he did say earlier this year that. I mean, his plan is to turn professional at the end of the year, but he was hanging out to get into the Eisenhower Cup team. So when there's only three out of Australia, it's a fantastic effort.
It just shows you how important they think about the Eisenhower Cup, the players.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yeah. So you don't get that many chances to really represent your country in a World Teams event. So,
It's a really interesting one, isn't it, Gary? I know you know this because your son plays, but for most of the viewers, mate, when you talk about turning professional, they just go, well, I'll play golf for a little while and then I turn professional. It's just not that simple.
No. So, I mean, they have to go, they go through a player's school, as they call it. I think it's, that'll be on in early December, generally held. I think they have one in Sydney, one in Melbourne. And, you might have 100 hopefuls looking for 8 or 10 spots at each place, and then that doesn't guarantee them into every tournament. Then they'd have to go to a second school, and then you've got to get into an event and do well to sort of get your ranking points up. So, but this is the great thing that is now starting to happen in Australia. The circuit is starting to develop again, and we've just had the Western Australian Open, and then we've got this fantastic tournament coming up. Well, I say fantastic because it's the first time we've had a tournament in Adelaide outside of Live for some time, quite a number of years. So
for cash,
$200,000, men and women playing, and it's at Wollonga.
Yeah, the Australian circuit.
Greg Blewett is the host of it. Now, he might be able to give you some more finer details about what's happening, but that's on, I think it's on the 20, it starts on the 21st of this month. So
Bluey's only hosting it because he thinks he can get on it.
He's
not hosting it. He's always trying to sneak in and get a card, mate.
I'm sure he'll be having a game in the Pro-Am.
He can actually play.
I mean, all the players, they're part of the second tier, but this is all part of the, getting more experience, getting a bit of a quid behind you and moving on to the greater tournament. So,
Doug, there's other ways of getting turning pro. I mean, you can go to the school and that. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the trainee pro thing that they're doing now, well, my lad is doing and whatever, it's another way in.
They become a fully fledged professional. But then they have their own little tournaments as well, which
just plays every week.
Gives them some experience and stuff. And then if But those guys, I'm fairly sure if they want to get onto the actual playing circuit, they've still got to go to the tour school to get credentials. But you could correct me if.
Well, I think there's an order of merit in there as well.
I could be, yes.
That maybe the top 4 or 5, I think, maybe do get that.
Yeah.
You can go in, but no, you can't just
turn up and say,
I would think these guys will get the opportunity to play at Wollonga.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I haven't caught up with my lad for a little while.
Because I think, like Benny Layton, who's an ex-Wollonga boy, he's the assistant pro at Kooyonga.
Jack Carter.
Jack Carter's already on the circuit. See, Jack did very well in the West Australian Open. Finished top 20.
That's right.
So he'll automatically get in for sure. But they'd get that opportunity. And of course, the one, he didn't do that great in the West Australian Open, but Lockie Barker, who he's done the college thing in America and came back, one of the few that comes back not disillusioned with golf after the college system. He's a local boy as well, so he'll get a fair bit of support down there.
So October the 19th, isn't it? Sorry,
Yes.
October 19th at Wollonga. So you need to get out and have a look at it because there's going to be some super talent there.
There'll be a lot of talent there. It'll be great golf to watch. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
And with the men and women, and the women play off the women's tees, but it's not a purse for women and a purse for men, as far as I'm aware. It's just if a girl shoots 66 off the ladies' tee and she's leading the field, she leads the field.
Yeah.
So I think they did it up on the Riverland a few tournaments last year. This is sort of this developing circuit. So this is how Wollonga's got onto it. And I think Hannah Green. Won a tournament there, so she beat the guys.
I think there's one coming up after the Wollonga one, which the trainee pros have got, which is a 4-dayer at McCracken, where they've got a pro-am, and then which counts as their first round, and then
that might be the South Australian PGA.
Well, it could be. I mean, I'm not sure.
Could be. I think they've held that at Murray Bridge a few times as well. So
that's a pretty big one. That's going to have a lot of very good. I mean, I think I've got a spot in the pro-am there, which is very nice.
Well, I mean, there are some.
No wonder we're mentioning.
There are some good players playing there.
Mate, we'd like to talk about your golf group. We need to get on to the Asian Pacific International because that is a big one, mate. 26th of October, because that gets you, the winner gets entry into the Masters.
Yeah, that's a massive event, and I think they even changed the date so that it didn't clash with the Eisenhower Cup. So that is, these guys, all the Asians and Australians, New Zealanders that play in this tournament at the Eisenhower Cup, they'll fly straight back in for it. So if I could put my selfish Glenelg pennant cap on, I'm hoping Jack Buchanan comes back and wins it, because then he'll get ticket to the Masters and a ticket to the Open, but more importantly, he'll stay amateur for another 12 months and we might get a few pennant games out of it.
We've actually had a few winners of this, Dark, the Aussies.
We have,
of late as well, the Asia Pacific.
Well, Harrison Crow won it 2 years ago. He went to the Masters and Open this year. Well, he won it last year, sorry.
Can't think of the ponytail guy who won it, but can't think of his name. But
was it Curtis Luck?
Curtis Luck.
And Anthony Maderka.
Anthony
from Grange,
he
won it and went to the Masters.
He's disappeared.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's a good player, but
very good player.
That's the game of golf. It doesn't take much to lose it. You just hope he can get it back. You know. You hope he can get it back.
It's a big tournament, though.
So that's going to be a great tournament. It's also at Royal Melbourne, I beg your pardon. So you'll get lots of coverage of that. And that goes back. They have representatives from the Masters here, representatives from the Royal and Ancient. From the Open, so it gets really, really good coverage.
Okay, just quickly in closing, mate, the Live Golf, when it's building, we hear a lot about it, we hear all the angst about it, but it's kind of in a bit of a lull at the moment. We're not hearing, where's it sitting now with the Masters, the Open, Live Golf?
I think they've got their finale in about 2 weeks, and they have that big team championship finish. They have declared their 14 tournaments for next year.
Which we're one?
Yes.
Grange are one again. And I think the announcement that they were merging was very impromptu. If anything, it seems to have the gap's got wider.
Yeah.
And I would say Liv's going to stand alone for at least 2 more years before they do anything about it.
Shame.
It's but you get guys like Phil Mickelson who to keep bagging the PGA. You get guys like Rory McIlroy who has just become
Pariah.
I think an obnoxious voice in the whole thing. He's just he's anti everything, and he's certainly anti Liv. Well, the good thing we'll get a tournament at Grange for the next couple of years, so you get to see world class golfers, and we don't get that too often.
No, that's what we care about. So as long as we've got spectacular. Mate, appreciate your time, mate. The Wollonga Golf Club, 19th of October. Get down there. There's going to be some absolute stars playing golf here in South Australia. Stay with us. Still, a bit more to come.